Happy Sabbath once more, church. Um, if we had to sing to get into heaven as a family, I know my family would probably be in this section of the alternatives, trying to find another way in, because when I was young, we had family worship, and my big sister, she was the singer. She always starts a song, and we always let her lead. When she got married and moved, we saw how crucial she was to the family. Because when we started singing, my mom would take the lead. And after that, it was a downward spiral. But to God be the glory, the Father understands us. The Father understands us, and the worship was great, the reading was excellent, the singing was a battle, but we came through. Today, the title of my sermon, Succeed in Failure, and we're going to talk a little bit and do a little bit of Bible study. So let's begin. Just pray with me once more. Heavenly Father, as we bow before your awesome throne, dear Jesus, we ask you for one thing. Open our understanding. Help us to understand the word as we read it. And help that this word of yours, this message that we will receive from you, we will carry it through this oncoming week and tell someone. Help us to not keep it to ourselves. In Jesus' name, amen. I have three persons here who I'm going to tell you about. And I'm going to tell you their lives. Most of you probably know them. They're famous. But I won't tell you their names until we're finished. So, this person, he's famous, he's gifted, he's kind-hearted, but he had a lot of struggles. His mom, he was born in Lebanon. And he came to America through his father. He dropped out of school when he was 17. His mom divorced 4 times. 5 separate schools, stuff like that. He had a hard time coming up. But he became so famous today that if I mention his name, you can quickly tell me at least 2 movies he's associated with. But I won't tell you his name. There's another lady here. She has a makeup line. She's very famous too. Her struggles was hard. She's a Canadian actually. She had to go around the world to come back home to be successful. And we have another lady. She grew up in the slum. She was abused by her family, her cousins, molested. She gave birth when she was 17, the baby died. She tried to make it in the TV shows, and she struggled, but today she's famous. But I'll tell you who they are at the end of this sermon. The reason why I tell you this is that all of these people had failures in their life, but there's one thing common. They didn't stay down, they succeeded. Alright. Let's read the Bible. Judges 2. I'm going to read from verse 1 to 4. And I want you to listen carefully. It says, Then the angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I led you from Egypt and brought you to the land of which I swore to your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you. And you shall make no covenant with the inhabitants of this land. You shall tear down their altars. But you have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this? Therefore I said, I will not drive them out before you, but they shall be thorns in your side, and their gods shall be a snare to you. So it was, when the angel of the Lord spoke these words to all the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept. Now, Let's analyze this passage. It said, the angel of the Lord came from Gilgal to Bochim. You see, earlier, the children of Israel camped at Gilgal. The word Bochim is not a place, but in verse 4 where it says wept, that's what Bochim means. So from Gilgal to Bochim, the children of Israel wept. The location that they were, Bochim, they named it after the cry that they cried because of what God said to them. God said He will never break His promise, meaning He's not a promise breaker. But who broke the promise? It was the children of Israel. And because of that, that mournsome wept, they named that place Bochim. He said in verse 4, and you shall make no covenant with the inhabitants of this land. How many times have we gone to a new place and we like what we see and we settle there and we practice what they preach and we eat their food and we become like them? That's actually making a covenant. That's actually changing your lifestyle to be like them. Now when you be like a person, you try to be like a person who is strong, who is fit, who can run a race. You don't try to be like a person who is weak, who is sickly. You don't try to be like that. But remember, children of Israel in Egypt, they were sickly, they were weak, because they became like the Egyptians, because they ate like them, and that's why God had to take them out. That's why God had to carry them through the wilderness for 40 days to purge them, and also to purge them mentally. You see, this little chapter here summarizes the whole book of Judges. The book of Judges is a book of failure. A book of failure tells what was wrong with the people, and that's what we're going to look into today. We're going to look, why were they so stubborn? Why did they listen to the voice of God? Why did they make allegiance with the Canaanites? Let's read. It says, I have this passage here. It says, what made Israel reluctant to follow the leading of God? That's the question I ask. And the reason why I ask that is because usually through the book of Judges, when you read it, there's always a 5-step protocol that they follow. They always follow these 5 steps. And we'll try to highlight it. But before we go, let me give you some history, some more history. After the death of Joshua, a nation arose who did not care about their inheritance. Joshua's leadership was marked by obedience, conquest, and unrivaled trust in God. And under the leadership of every man who did, and under the leadership of the judges, every man did what was right in their own eyes. Judges 21, verse 25. An ambiguous contrast was noticed. Remember, there was no king in that land. There were only judges, periodical judges over a period of time. We had prophets, we had rulers, and we had priests. Samson, the story that was told today, he was called to be set aside. He was called to be a priest for them. He was a Nazarite. He did the Nazarite vow. He was not supposed to eat anything, not supposed to drink anything. But what did he do? He went and defiled himself. And because of defiling himself, he was caught in a trap that he wished not to. He spoke what he shouldn't have spoken. He told his secret. And as the children's story said, you shouldn't tell your secret. Because when I heard that story, I was like, wait, this kid read my notes. But I'm like, Lord, you're leading, so let your leading continue. You see, we have 2 great men in society. One of them, Jeff Bezos. This man struggled before he owned Amazon. He had failures. This man tried to get jobs in little places that sometimes we could. Example, Tim Hortons, KC. Men like this try to get jobs, but what they failed. But they didn't stay long. They kept on going. You see, when God said, do not go with these people, what he was trying to tell them is simply this, and I'll try to make it short. When you start a culture that you know not of, when you start following a God that you don't know, there's one thing that usually happens. You inevitably start worshiping that God. And what becomes robbed is your time. And that's what God has always told them. Do not go, do not do this. Remember the commandments that we read earlier? There's one commandment that he said, and the word is shama, in Hebrew means remember. And the reason why God said that because he knows that we will forget it. Every other commandment was somewhat of a command. This one was like a request. Remember, listen, understand. That's what the word means in remember. And this one, and in verse 1, he told them, I will never break my covenant. I will always remember it. Why haven't you remembered yours? Why haven't you started serving these gods? And these are the questions that was just so troubling to me. And there were 5 steps that I told you about. 5 steps, and I'm going to tell you them. Step 1 was the sin. The Israelites became entrapped in the heathen nation through socialization of curiosity and not ministry. They affiliated themselves to the institution, to the food, to the clothing, commercial practice, and eventually through interest into their overall customs. You see, the Israelites said the reason why we didn't run them out was because we needed the commercialization. Yeah, that's what they said. The reason why we didn't run them out was because we made an affiliation with them. We made it a league with them. And that's exactly what God said you should not do. What they did is that they started trading. They started making business affiliations. And after that, what they started to do is that they started to go into their camps. They said, ooh, you have nice colors. Your tents are so beautiful. Wow, you guys are so pretty. You have so much jewels and stuff. And they started to love it. And when they went back home, they brought that practice with them. And they also brought their gods. And that's why they became weak. That's why they couldn't run them out. Each time God said, get them out. It's more, they weren't afraid. They were literally weak. Remember, I'm going to remind you, Gideon, when God called him, remember how he tested God so many times? Well, the problem is that he was afraid. He was afraid. But remember, when he got them out with the 300 men that he had, and then what did he do? He called his friends in the higher places and said, come down. The kings of Zebulun and Zebah are coming your way. Come down. And when they came down, and they killed the 2 princes, what did they do to Gideon? They came to Gideon and chided him sharply and said, why have you done this? Why have you went and started a war and not invited us? We wanted the war too. We want to get them out. And what Gideon said peacefully? Didn't you kill the 2 princes? Like, isn't that enough? You see the thing? These men wanted to fight. But they knew if they fought, they would have lost. Why? God wasn't on their side. Because they were the same ones who were going into the camps and talking with these Canaanites. Have we done that today? Have we gone to a place where it seems that we can't come back? Have we made affiliations with the devil? Think about it. We are sinning right now and some of us don't even know. We have a sin to do later and we don't even know. Why I say that? This is it. We sometimes think that we are saved and sanctified and holy, but our neighbors don't even know who we are. If we go to them and say, hey, do you know who a Seventh-day Adventist is? If we put on our car and say, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, they're like, what is Seventh-day Adventist? If our action doesn't speak it, then nobody knows. If we go to them and say, hey, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, vote for me. Vote for what? Like, who are you? What's a Seventh-day Adventist? We need to be seen by our neighbors. We need to be different. We should not be affiliated with the foolishness and the debauchery and the slackness that goes on in our society. We should be different. Our neighbors should know us as people who are unique. If we're a Jehovah's Witness, everybody will know us. And I'm not saying we should go to their house and knock and say, hey, you want to do Bible study? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if your neighbors are shoveling their driveway, grab your shovel, go offer their help, even if they say no. If they're doing it again, go offer your help, even if they say no. Eventually you're going to ask, like, what's your problem? What, you want money? No. Then why are you asking me to help? Why you want my help? Well, guess what? I'm a Seventh Adventist and this is what we do. What? Who are Seventh Adventists? Are you a cult? And that's your opportunity. That's how you start witnessing. We don't go door to door anymore. No, but there's signs, no soliciting. Just wait for the opportunity. God will reveal it to you. You see, Israel was supposed to be a nation that people looked on and feared. But during the time of the judges, nobody feared them anymore. Moses, they know. Joshua, they know the cross of the Red Sea. At this point, everybody's like, oh, Israel, don't worry about them. Nah, we got them under control, yeah. We gave them the new phones, we gave them new cars, we gave them new tents. Yeah, you see that one? That one with a tent with a cross on it? Yeah, we gave them that. That was our methodology, that was our sign that we gave them. But they don't know, they just thought that they're Christians or they're holy. But we gave them that so we know them. Samson got trapped. If you remember the story, Samson went to them, they didn't come to him. And that's how it begins. Let us stay out of the camp. After sin, after they are in sin, what happens? They become servants to sin. Servitude. The first one is sin. The second one is servitude. After the Israelites got weak, they became slaves to the enemy through power of persuasion and manipulation. There was no way out of this rabbit hole. They burrowed themselves deeper and deeper. The thorns of the Canaanites were now deep down in their flesh. Addiction, lust, greed, gambling, pride had deceived them, and psychologically they were padlocked with the heathen and ignorant of the promise of God because they were brainwashed into slavery. Modern day slavery is not with chains, it's with your mind. And modern day slavery interrupts your money and your time. And you're going to realize you work all the day long and you go home and you're broke. Why? You spend more than you earn. We're all into it. Believe it or not. If anyone here is out of debt, raise your hand. Okay. I actually wanted somebody to raise their hand because I really want to know how to get out of debt. Student life is nice. But that's what I'm saying, servitude. We work all day, we work all night, and then what? We spend and we shop and we go for the new things and stuff like that. You know what, I'm going to be honest. I went to a thrift store one day and I was driving past, I saw a Cadillac and I saw another high-class vehicle. I'm like, these are the owners. When I went to the store, I saw a lady really pretty, like, her makeup was like on fleek, everything, and she's pushing a cart, and she's like, oh, no, not that, oh, not that. I'm like, if that's not the definition of rich, then I don't know what is. Because I didn't see anybody who looked like me was just wearing the normal shoes and the normal pants, and like a normal shirt. She was decked out. And I'm like, what is she doing here? I would say she's a Christian, because she's smart. She knows how to shop. She's gonna spend her money buying all Gucci and all that, and then realize like, hey, you know what? After a while, this is old school and all that. She was shopping smartly. If you remember Jesus' life, you remember this. Jesus' clothes was never dirty. His foot was never messy. His sandals was never old and falling off. Jesus shopped smart. I'm not saying he just went to a thrift store, probably he did. But I'm saying, like, why were the soldiers fighting over his clothes? There must be something awesome about that clothes, eh? Probably was like designed by one of the famous guys back then. I don't know. I'm just saying. Look at it. Jesus went into the cave. He used the sepulchre the first time. Joseph's sepulchre. You see, when you worship a God who keeps his promise, you will never be lacking. You'll never be ashamed. You'll never be like on the ground. I'm going to tell you my testimony. When I was in Ontario, I had a car. I came here in my first car, and that was a 1999 Honda Civic. And I mean, like, that car was kind of falling apart, but I liked it. And God was saying, Rashid, go to ministry. I'm like, nope, I can stay home, I can read my Bible, I can do a lot of stuff. Ellen G. White said the pastors today are messed up. I don't want to do it, right? And the calling kept coming. I tried all the avenues, and it wasn't happening. So I signed up. I got through. It was like, wow, that was too quick. All right, I got through. Then I put it off. I'm like, Lord, I can't go to school broke. If I go to school broke, I'm going to look really bad. You know, I need to go looking good. You know what I'm saying, Jesus? I spent 1 year working, and I was actually in a worse position than I was before. And I'm like, what's happening? So I decided, Lord, I'm going to go to school. I went to school, packed up everything, went to school, and I'm telling you, Alberta Cole was crazy. The first time I came here, I mean, like, we were driving, and I'm looking at the mirror, and I'm like, why is the mirror getting so foggy? He's like, no, it's not foggy. It's just crystallizing. I'm like, what? Why am I crystallizing? He's like, yeah, it's minus 30. After that, I just shut up the whole way home. I'm like, Lord, if you bring me here, please provide for me, because I am not into this school. Lord, you said to come here, I came here, I'm going to do your ministry, but you got to provide for me. Lord, please. Even a 1999 Honda Civic will do. And that's what I realized when I got my second car. I realized that I was doubting God. I didn't put God to the test. Remember, when we are Christians, we don't lack. We should be borrowing. We should be lending. Israel shouldn't have borrowed anything. They should have lent. You know why? They were a nation. They were a wealthy nation. Today, look at it. Jews today. People hate Jews. Why? Because they know how to do money. Or probably they give like more than 10% of their time, but I don't know. But they know how to do money. We as Christians, we are inherited by His blood. We are washed, we are bought, we should be lending. The car I drive today, I'm not going to tell you the price. But I got that from a pastor. And everybody who saw me drive that for the first day, like, Rashid, you drive this car when you're graduated. How do you get this money? Like, what kind of job are you doing? I'm like, honestly, I just have to thank God. I'm like, Lord, I really didn't want that car. But Lord, you gave me a high car and people like it. So amen to that, Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Lord. I'm like, yes. When people start giving me compliments, I'm like, Lord, that was you. And that's the thing, never keep it for yourself. People ask me, like, honestly, it was him. Because the first time I came here, I got frostbite. I complained to my father, and he's like, all right, I got you. I got you. And in the summer, God gave me that car. And I'm telling you, praise be to God, I thought that car would break down by now. I drove it to Ontario and back, and the car is still running. I'm like, Lord, you're good. Yeah, yep, amen to that. And that's the thing. When we are free from slavery, when we are not in servitude to the enemy, you realize God blesses you. He doesn't bless you to the point where you leave Him. He blesses you to the point that you keep continuing with Him. And that's what we should be doing. The next step I'm going to tell you is supplication. Remember, verse 4? Verse 4, it says, they wept. Watch it. Judges 2, verse 4. So it was when the angel of the Lord spoke these words to all the children of Israel that the people lifted up their voice and wept. They know what they did. They know what they did. But why did they continue in it? We're going to get to that point. And that's the point that I want you to get. You see, we're going to do a little bit of Bible study. I could preach to you, I could jump, I could do all of that. But if you don't understand the word, all my actions are in vain. Because you're going to leave like, yo, yeah, he was good, like, yeah, he's energetic. You could run on the wall and flip. I can't do that, but I'll learn to do it. That would be nice to see a pastor do that, wouldn't it? Yeah, I saw you laughing. Okay, let's continue the word. Supplication. After the prodigal son was eaten with the hogs in the club, listen to me. After the prodigal son was eaten with the hogs, with the pigs in the club, he had to eat with the hogs in the pen. Remember, the prodigal son squandered his money on friends who liked him for what he had, not who he was. He said, soon he came to his senses and remembered what his father told him. What did he do? He remembered. The time we usually remember is the time when we're usually in a rut. We never remember when we're happy and we should be giving God thanks. We remember Him when we're down on our face, when we have exams, when we have the mortgage, when we have the rent, when we have car payments. We always remember Him in the bad times. What about the good times? Why don't we ever remember in the good times? When somebody say, hey man, nice shoes, nice house, like, oh, you know, thank you. No, to God be the glory, great things He has done. If every time we say that, there's a penny in our heavenly saving bank, and you will know it. Why? It will become normal to us. Hey, you know what? Thank you, Lord, for taking me home safely. Praise the Lord. Yes, praise the Lord. Look on the news. How many people died in a car crash? How many people died in an accident? That's our heavenly saving bank. It says, I will always be here for you, even if you aren't here for yourself. That's what the Father said to the prodigal son. I will be here, and he remembered that. If we remember before we are in the rut, we will always be delivered. We will be free from depression. We will be free from the trials of life. And that's what I want to preach. That's what we should be preaching. Preach freedom. We are free. Remember, God died on the cross. We don't have to go to a priest anymore. We are free. It says, the people once again cried unto God after the lavish lifestyle started to make them sick. Cancer, depression, STD, obesity, anorexia, suicidal thoughts. Okay, let me paint a picture here. The angel, the messenger of the Lord came and told them, you guys have disobeyed me one more time. What's wrong with you? Okay, guess what? Your God will become a snare. You see, the guy with the tent with the nice thing on it, it became a problem to him. Why? He had to be maintaining it, he had to be keeping it clean, he had to be making it pretty so everybody else would see. He had to be putting his time, his energy. His family got rejected. His work, he almost lost it. I'm talking about a guy in Israel. He had that nice tent over there. It became a snare unto him. He had to put his energy into it. You see, whenever you have to put your energy into something that won't give you back that feeling of happiness, you realize what you do. Either you go deeper, or you go bigger, or you get a better one. Example, we have a car. That car gave us all the hype, all the niceness. Everybody saw us, everybody liked it, everybody liked us. Then somebody came on the street with a newer one. What do? You jump, go into debt, get a bigger car, a bigger house, a bigger whatever. And you realize it became a snare unto you. You started feeling pain. Like your wife started complaining, your husband started complaining. You're not spending time with me, you're just wiping up the car, you're just building the house bigger, you're making the movie, you're making the what's it called? The theater room. You start making the theater room bigger, you invite your friends over. What about us? What about us? That's what a snare is. It's a trap. You don't know you're in a trap until it's too late. A fish goes into a trap and it can't come out. Why? It's too late. Don't go into the trap of life. Yes, we have to live. Yes, we need to eat all that. But if you go for a selfish gain, you'll realize you'll never come out. Supplication. It says, 1 Corinthians 7 verse 4, and I think we know this, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I'll hear from heaven, then I'll forgive their sins, and then I'll heal their land, right? If you listen to that verse, if you put that verse on your refrigerator or in your heart, you're going to realize that whole passage sums up our life. And it sums up the God who we serve. It says, if my people who are known by me will humble themselves and just pray. My mom called me and we were talking and she told me, you know, Rashid, I'm reading a book and honestly we're not praying. I'm like, Mom, we pray. Like, we get up on her in the morning and we pray. She says, no, humble yourself. Put your sin before God. Pray. Try it. 5 minutes for those who don't do it much. Just 5 minutes in the morning or in the evening before you go to bed. Don't do it when you're tired and then you're going to pray like, oh, Heavenly. And then you wake up like 3 hours later, like, hey man, don't do that. Go on your knees. Don't do it when you're tired or when you go to sleep. I've done it a lot. I used to, oh yeah, I pray. I want to pray. Heavenly Father. And then I wake up like an hour and a half later, like, oh my gosh, that was a good sleep. What happened? Like, did you finish praying? No. It's a practice. After a while, it becomes normal. The thing is, when you pray, you actually talk to God in a way that He understands. Don't go to Him and like, Lord, I need this, I need that. My boss is a jerk. Lord, my neighbor is annoying. Can you kill his dog? You pray selfish prayer, it never goes up. If you pray a prayer that counts, Lord, help me to give me an opportunity to talk to my neighbor. Give me a way that I can help him with his dog. Like, you pray those prayers, you'll be surprised how God will come through for you. Okay, let me give you an example. I made a commitment to myself. I said, I'm gonna say hi to my neighbor even if they give me the cold shoulder. I'm gonna try and start with it until they see me. So I prayed, I'm like, Lord, that will be done today. I got up off my knees, kind of nervous, because I was like, Lord, don't let it be today, because I'm not feeling so well. I got up, I get out, I stepped out, and I didn't see them, so I was like, oh God, thank God. Go in my car, go to school. The next day I was like, yeah, I forgot about that prayer. Next day I came on my car, and I was going in and I saw them, I was like, she was like smoking a cigarette. Okay, what should I do? And then she's like, and I was like, okay, cool, that's day one. The next day, I got out, and she was just coming out, and I just get a bigger smile. And guess what she did? She said hi. She said hi. She acknowledged me. She saw me. I was becoming annoying to her. And she's like, you know what, if I don't say hi to this guy, he probably won't stop. So she said hi. And I was like, I got in my car, I was like, right, God is good. And I went to school, I was like, that's my goodie for the day. You see, we have to be annoying sometimes for the message to be spread. We have to be irritating to some people. Not to the point where they want to call the cops on us, but to the point where they will see something different within us. And that's what I did. And I'm looking for another opportunity to talk to my next neighbor. Because if they don't know me, if they don't know there's a black guy living in that house, something is wrong. Because all we do, we get in our cars, we go to work, we go to play, we come back home, and we're just in our own little bubble and we're comfortable. Heaven will not be a bubble. Heaven will be the biggest bubble that everybody's in. And no one has their separate bubble. And we have to start living down here before we can live up there. You don't want to go to heaven in that long line of judgment. And then your name is called. Yeah, so Rashid, do you talk to your neighbor? Like, do I have neighbors? No, I don't. No, I was like, yeah, you do. I was like, no. Like, you know what? Is this Gabriel? Let me talk to Jesus. He had my back. He's like, yeah, no. Jesus want to talk to you. Because Jesus want to tell you, Jesus want to ask you, who are you? I don't know you. You never helped me. I was in that house having depression. My husband left. My kids are killing me. No one came to help. In your car, you didn't even look my way. Who are you? And that's what he's going to say to us. If we don't step out, be brave, we are going to lose a lot of souls for Christ. And the only way we can win those souls is come out of our shells. Remember, the media, this North American culture shows us that we can do all things through ourselves who strengthen us. It doesn't say we can do all things through Christ. Because God is eroded. God has been taken away. Our young ones are growing up, learning to be selfish. We don't want to share. Why? Because it's just unkind. It's dangerous. You might catch germs. We have to learn to be kind one to another. And that's their supplication. They started praying. They started witnessing. They started beseeching God. The last one I have. No, sorry, before the last one. I have two more. Salvation. After they prayed, what did God do? I want you to talk to me this one. This one you know. After they prayed and they cried, what did God do? No? Okay, guess what? If you want to go home for lunch, you got to talk to me. After they prayed, what did God do? Okay, after they prayed, what did God do? After they prayed, what did God do? Somebody said intervene. After they prayed, what did God do? Okay, this side spoke. So if y'all want to go home, you have to talk to me. This is a learning experience. There's no pastor that come and preach and somebody doesn't learn. If you don't learn, then it wasn't a sermon, it was a presentation. And you just sit there. After they prayed, what did God do?
Save them out of their trouble.
Mercy. Thank you, Pastor. You see, God delivered them out of their problems. God took them out. God never breaks his promise. It was always there. The one who had to run was the one who brought the promise, because they couldn't stay in the presence of God, because they felt so much guilt. So what they do, they start serving the other God that felt kind to them, that felt nice to them. He gave them the pleasure that they need. He supplied everything that they wanted. Why? It was human passion. It wasn't heavenly passion. You ever notice when you pray or you have fasting and prayer, when you're done, even when you're hungry, you just feel like you're walking in air. You just feel so light, you feel so nice. Until you meet that friend who just like give you some gossip and some bad news, you realize like, oh gosh, burden. Jesus is our deliverer. Jesus is our high priest. You see, we are a peculiar people. We are a chosen generation. If you don't accept that, you're going to lose it. And guess who's going to pick it up? Somebody from outside is going to come in and take your spot. Because you never accepted it. You never read it. You never looked into the word what peculiar means. A chosen generation. What does it mean? It means you're here for a purpose. It was by accident. Okay, there's no kid here. You're not the result of a broken. You are chosen. It wasn't meant to be. You're not an accident. And if you don't accept that and you let people fool you, then guess what? You're gonna act like an accident, and then you're gonna end up like an accident. So salvation came through deliverance, but Israel fall back in the trap. What trap did they fall back in? What trap did they fall back in? Sin, idol worship. What? Okay, guess what? We are modern Israel right now. What trap do we fall back in when we leave God? Sin, disobedience, depression, suicidal thought, bad eating habits, insomnia. These are the names that they gave today, but they had it back then. Nothing new under the sun. We just give it newer, high-class names. Yeah. They were probably eating herbs just to feel good because they were so depressed. We are taking pills to feel good because we're so depressed. People, if you don't know what Christ is all about for you, you will not know how to get out of it. Leviticus tells you a lot about it. What to eat, what not to eat. How to live, how not to live. If your environment is dirty and clean, your life will be dirty. Sorry, if your environment is dirty, your life will be dirty. If your environment is clean, your life will be clean. And it's simple. If you live the life that you want to live, you will die the life that you want to die. You see, Israel went silent. And the reason why they went silent is because they moved from God to the idol worship. And the process started all over again. That 5 process, sin. Then afterwards they became slave. And afterwards what? They cry out, supplication. Then afterwards, they got salvation. And then they became silent. That's what God, if you haven't realized it. We're not no Enoch. We're like Judas. We are Barnabas. That's us. We're not the ones who are delivered, saved, and sanctified. We're no Peter. Yeah, we're probably Peter, the first Peter, not the second one who repented. Because our mouth is still vile, our heart is still dirty, and our mind is still impure. And the only person that can save us is God, no one else. Hear what the children's story said? Don't tell your secrets to other people. Who are you going to tell it to? Tell it to God. God always delivers. He always brings somebody in your life who can give you wisdom. And then you feel comfortable knowing that, hey, I can talk to this person. So guess what? Rather than being silent when God delivers, what should we do? What should we do? Share it. What else? We should praise God. We should praise God. Follow me. In the good times and in the bad times. Okay, no. Right? In the good times and the bad times. When your rent is due and you have no money. When the mortgage is due. When the car loan is here. When the children have to go back to school. When obstacles come your way. When death rears its ugly head. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. In everything we do, we should. I told you I'm going to end with these people. These are contemporary artists. Keanu Reeves, you know him. His mother had had different husbands. She sounded like the woman in the Bible in Matthew that Jesus told, all the husbands you have and none of them is your own. That was Keanu Reeves' mom. And look at him now. He overcame all that stigmatism, all that hurt. Famous movie star, kind-hearted. He's not keeping it to himself, he's giving back. Elizabeth Arden, she's a Canadian. She owns a makeup business. As I said, most of us use it today. Even men. It's not on your face, right? It could be deodorant, but we use it. And Oprah Winfrey, abused, molested, tried so many times, drop out. Look where she at now, giving free cars. I'm just saying, I like cars. Like, the time I saw the episode, I was just like, I'm like, Mom, why could we be there? Jeez, you know? But remember, we should be the ones who are looking, trying to get something. We should be the ones who are willing to give. If we don't have a car, we give our service. If we don't have a house, we give our help. Remember, we are the ones who don't hold back. We are to give. We are Israel. If you call yourself an Israelite, if you call yourself a Hebrew, you should know what it means. Let us be the ones who give back to the Lord, not just in tithes and offering, but in our help. And remember, in everything we do, in everything we say, what should we do? For he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Amen.